Welcome to Digital Business. I'm Nigel Fennick, and today I'm talking to the Global Chief Digital Officer at Mars, Sandeep Dadlani. In our first episode, Sandeep talked about how he worked to identify the opportunities to improve the business with digital technologies. Once we found the opportunities, then what? Let's continue the discussion with Sandeep on the digital engine and solving business problems using data.
Once we found these problems, we had to unlock data to solve these problems. So we quickly set up a large data lake, hired a whole bunch of data scientists, unlocked some amazing data scientists from within Mars who were always there. They just hadn't found themselves. And the speed at which we started unlocking insights and solving problems in different parts of the business, pricing, revenue management, supply chain forecasting, and so on, I think the excitement just built upon itself, and more Mars associates who are fundamentally very curious and empathetic said, "Wow, I want a piece of that. Actually, I want to own that." Um, and slowly, I think what's going on right now at Mars is everybody in Mars wants to own digital, and that's the best thing that could happen because as long as we continue forming and federating, we will be on the right journey to digitalize or make all of Mars digital.
I love the story around the digital engine. So if we could dig in a little bit into the three stages of the digital engine, as you see it, why you built it up that way, and maybe give us an example of what's worked at Mars, like the latest or what you feel is the best example of that.
So far, there have been, on last count, more than 2,000 sprints that have followed the digital engine in some form. We've all been in meetings, Nigel, where we've been framing these mega problems. How do we build an omni-channel, delightful, end-to-end consumer experience? As an illustration for one of our businesses, we were literally faced with this statement on the board, big consulting firms around us, and a table of very experienced brand managers, supply chain heads, myself, trying to solve this problem. Now, the difference of doing this through our digital engine is we dragged in consumers. And when I say dragged in, this is not a consumer research report that we got 90 days later through an agency. We actually dragged in real consumers into the room and asked them, how do you feel about the consumer experience?
So this is the first part of the digital engine, right? Is understanding the customer needs, insights, needs, wants, desires, right?
Exactly. And their responses stunned us. Some of them said, uh, I don't know what bullshit you're talking about. I went to your website and this button didn't work, or the last package I received had such and such problem, and so on. I remember some very experienced managers asking these consumers, how do you take decisions at checkout while buying something? And she said, again, I don't care. I have a kid in my hand. My husband's trying to park the car outside, and I have the phone ringing. I just see something yellow with chia seeds. I pick it up. And so this experience, the idea is not to embarrass everybody and humiliate everybody. The idea is to get all our egos, my ego as chief digital officer, down to zero. And then we start listening carefully again on how to solve what is the problem you're trying to solve. Is it yellow? Is it chia seeds? Is it the checkout process? Is it the website button? Is it the package? Once we're breaking down the problem from the point of view of the consumer, then we could go to our analytics teams to say, all right, how many times has this website problem occurred? How much yellow do we have in the checkouts? Do chia seeds feature in our ingredients? And so on. The analytics teams then could dig out this data from all over Mars and frankly outside of Mars through social listening, saying, is this a consumer trend at scale? And once we solve for it quickly using AI machine learning technology, then we say, all right, let's automate this for all our websites. Boom. And that's an automation going into place. Guess what? All this happens in 4 weeks. So we put a simple rule up front. We said no project more than 12 weeks. And now
Okay,
we
that's
continue
important.
to shorten those project timelines. Because in the end, Nigel, as much as we love to feel we're in control of 5-year plans and long agendas, we're barely trying to make it to the weekend. And that's what we're trying to do, trying to make sure that we see enough through the fog to take a few steps ahead, and then see enough to take the next few steps ahead. People call this agile and sprints and scrum, but at a more human level, we're just calling it sprints. And half the sprints sometimes fail. But again, as Bruce Springsteen said, it's okay to be just dancing in the dark sometimes.
So back to the Springsteen School of Management. So I'm hearing, really don't drop our assumptions about the customer. Don't go in with assumptions. Really go in and talk to customers and do the research to understand, have that empathetic, the design thinking approach, as you pointed out earlier. And then using the tools of technology, machine learning, AI, to understand how to solve the problem using technology and scale it out through the organization. So this is kind of the approach you've reiterated over and over again, Sandeep. Is that right? In terms of this is what you refer to as a digital engine.
Exactly. And we found it applicable everywhere from R&D problems to supply chain problems to even IT problems. Even when we are solving for tickets in the support shop or cybersecurity problems, the time we spend in figuring out who is our end user and asking her carefully how does she feel unlocks the problem statement in a way that then when we apply AI, other things, there's a supply chain challenge we had in one of our largest businesses, where once we got all the planners together and asked them carefully how they felt, they unleashed a slew of emotions. And we found that actually one of the biggest solves was not technology. They just needed to have been looking at the same inventory data together. Now, you can do that in Excel, but that was a big unlock. Yes, we then put in sophisticated forecasting tools and inventory optimization tools. But the biggest unlock was framing the problem, saying, how might we have all the demand planner, the inventory planner, the production planner look at the same inventory data together? And I've always been shocked and humbled, being someone with a technology background, how little technology plays a role in actually solving the problem. Technology helps, but really is overrated in terms of solving real problems.
A lot of it to do with getting people together and seeing the same things on, seeing same perspectives. In this episode, we heard Sandeep talk about not only hiring data scientists, but also finding the hidden talent within the company. We also talked about when we create excitement among employees, how everybody wants to own digital and the importance of bringing real customers into the room to understand what they want. How looking at the problem from the outside in, from the customer's point of view, helps frame the problem in such a way that we can use it to go and look for the right data. And the importance of checking our egos at the door and looking at the problem from the customer's point of view. How we can empower the analytics team to find data to identify the causes of a problem, and how we can use AI and machine learning to solve it. We talked about the use of automation to rapidly scale a solution across the globe, and how to use tight goals, no project more than 12 weeks, and using delivery goals of 4 weeks, let's say. We also discussed the importance of focusing on the near term, because we have no idea really what's going to be important in 2 or 3 years. We talked about the time spent in understanding the target customer's feelings and how important it is to help unleash the slew of emotions that direct us toward the solution. We talked about how technology helps, but how it's often not the key to unlocking the solution, and that time spent in understanding a target customer's feelings helps unleash a slew of emotions to direct us toward that solution. More to come. Thanks, Sandeep. This is Digital Business. I'm Nigel Fennick.